Good morning, everyone. It's Labor Day weekend, a long weekend and the last one of the summer. It was 8 degrees last night here, which is getting pretty frosty. Oh, wait a minute. Alexa, what is 8 degrees centigrade in Fahrenheit?
8 degrees Celsius is 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
46 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a little chilly. Great sleeping weather. Brought out the deer again this morning. It was wonderful. So today is going to be fun, and we're going to have a great conversation with Barbara Martinez, and she is the executive director of the Goshen Chamber of Commerce in Goshen, New York. And one of the people that we often are in touch with regard to chamber issues. And she's an excellent resource, a fabulous woman. She has more energy than I will ever have in my life. Let's bring her on. Hi, Barbara. Welcome.
I heard you say you guys had 43 or 42 degrees centigrade or Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
And we are dipping down to like 80, and people are already scared.
Dipping down to 80. And you're not that far away from us.
No, but once we start seeing 80 degrees, we start getting like sad. There are a lot of people that love it. They love the fall weather. I do too. But we know that winter is coming.
That's right. It doesn't take long. And I'm just surprised at how it's really rapidly gone down within the space of a week. It's gone from I'm Celsius. It's gone from let's say 70s, mid 70s, down to the 40s in like 2 nights. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm generally in Mexico in the winter. I don't have any winter clothes.
This is happening too fast.
Yes, it's too fast. Layer, double up. So Barbara, we haven't had a chance to talk in a while, but I'm very familiar with you. And I've taken a good look at the Goshen Chamber of Commerce site. Let's go back and start from the beginning.
How far back?
How far back? Well, we got an hour. First of all, what I should do is ask everybody to make sure that they look up top and they sign into StreamYard so that you can comment and ask questions. And Chris, of course, is our first one. Hi, Barbara.
Hi,
I understand. Just point of order. Barbara, can you see that comment?
Yes.
On your screen? Mm-hmm. Okay, because this is a new feature for StreamYard that now the guests can see the comments.
Oh, okay.
And there was something else that I had learned, and now I have to think about what it is. So anyway, yeah, coolness. So one of the things with a name like Martinez, okay, who's there? Is it the boys there? Are the boys there?
Yeah, they're going to be heading there.
Let's see the boys. Are the boys coming to say hello?
No, they won't go away, so they'll just stay over there.
What are the boys off to do today?
They're going to hang out with their dad. They're getting their haircuts for back to school readiness, and hopefully stay out all day.
Hopefully stay out all day. Good morning,
Rick.
Ricky's saying good morning to us. Excellent. So how many children do you have?
I have 2 boys. Jonah is 15 and Aramis is 12.
Aramis. Oh, that's interesting.
And his name was supposed to be Joaquin because I'm a fan of Joaquin Phoenix, but right. We decided on Aramis. We didn't want too many J's in the house. So Jonah was named after the child from Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Right.
I was a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of that movie. And so I said, I really love that name, Jonah. And it stuck. So when I had my first son, Jonah it is.
Excellent. So how long have you been married?
I've been married since, oh goodness, I don't, since 20,
Okay, usually it's the husband that can't remember. This is
Well,
not you, Barbara. This
well,
is
we're separated. We've been separated for 3 years.
oh,
So I stopped counting.
oh, then you start counting. Yeah. So there's my second question. And is this your first, second, third, or fourth marriage?
My one and only, and we have 2 boys together. A
Wonderful.
lot of what I do does not include my boys. I try to keep them separate from everything that I do because I am so public.
Right.
I keep my private life very private. So people might see 1 or 2 pictures of me and my boys, but not very often. And I don't keep it up very long because I don't want people forming a false relationship with my kids via Facebook, and nothing is more scarier than when you are approached by someone who is either a friend of yours or on Facebook or follows you and says, and how is Jonah? That's kind of like
That's right.
my kids, so that's why I usually just keep them out of everything.
Do you know what a reeve of a township is?
No.
No, it's maybe a Canadian thing. So in the townships within the province, there are different townships, and within the township, there's reeve and deputy reeve and all blah blah blah, like a mayor but of a rural area.
Oh, okay.
So my sister was a reeve, and that was one of the things that made her get out of politics. Actually, is how much if there was an issue with the reeve in the township, it was taken out on her kids.
Right.
And she'd go to a hockey game with Josh or something, and they'd be picking on him and carrying on, and that just wasn't good.
Yeah, no, and people sometimes feel like they are built, like they think they have a relationship with you.
Right.
And then they think they have a relationship with your kids. And I really try to keep that separate. And it's funny because we'll go out I try to convince my kids to go out to dinner with me. And they're like, can't you just bring it home? Because every time we go somewhere, people approach you. We can't really, so I'll wear a cap and we'll go out to have dinner. But
you're a public figure in that town. And you can't go anywhere without everybody wanting to say hello.
Yeah. And so it makes them, they like it. They think it's pretty cool, but they also don't want to have to share me with the public. Right. So we keep everything intimate and home.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings up a question. Are you a good cook, Barbara?
I am.
Okay.
I actually am.
What's your dish of the day?
I could actually pretty much do anything because I can read a recipe really well and follow the recipe really well. But my mom taught me how to cook like Puerto Rican food. And that requires no recipes. We just do everything by taste, no measurements. It's one of those, you just kind of throw things in a pot and see what happens.
Oh, excellent.
I don't necessarily choose to cook. So I can cook, I just don't cook.
So you may not be in the mood. Well, do you know what? With your schedule and what you do in a day, I could see coming home and going, I'm not cooking.
You know how it used to be like the families, the mothers would cook and then it would be a treat to go out? In my house, we go out, and it's a treat when I cook.
It's a treat when you cook. Yeah. Excellent. Chris has sent me, did you see there Scott was saying hello?
Hi, Scott.
Bonjour, Scott. Now, Scott likes accents. Can you say something to Scott in Puerto Rican?
In Puerto Rican? Buenos dias, Scott. The funny thing is, English is my second language.
Yes.
However, I have lost my accent as a Puerto Rican. And people say that to me all the time. They're like, really? English is your second language? I think that in order for me to adapt and assimilate into this community, when I moved up from the Bronx, I kind of lost a part of myself by doing that. I lost my accent, and because I really wanted to enunciate my words, and I really wanted to kind of fit in. I didn't want to be made fun of, and I also wanted to be taken seriously in when I was delivering my message. So my family, every time I speak to them, they go, what is this? What do you sound like?
What happened to our girl?
Why do you sound like that?
Oh, Scott's got to come back. Hola.
Hola.
Now, Chris is telling us you're not only local, but you're international.
Apparently, I got peeps in Canada now.
You do. Big peep here. And I know Greg in Alberta is another fan. I'm sure there are many more of us here. Yeah, excellent. Oh, Rick is saying, bring on the
On the empanadas. I make some really good empanadas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So empanadas is. So what other foods are Puerto Rican? Like what?
Well,
Anything I can think of is Mexican.
all the Mexicans don't make empanadas.
Yeah.
They make their empanadas is almost kind of like a burrito or the enchiladas.
Okay.
Very different from what we do. And then our empanadas are very different from the Colombian empanadas or the Dominican empanadas. They're very different. So everybody makes it a little bit different. So the Caribbean cuisine, the recipes, even though people may think that we all kind of have the same, it's very different. It tastes different. We use different spices, although we may use the same ingredients. We may use different things to make it very distinct to either a Colombian dish or a Cuban dish or a Mexican dish or a Puerto Rican dish or a Dominican dish. So it's funny because people will ask me, well, what's in a burrito? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not Mexican.
Really?
I just eat it. I know as much as you do.
I probably know more because I've eaten so many.
Yeah, you can probably tell me.
My specialty is shrimp burritos. Yeah. And a strawberry margarita. So we were talking about coffee earlier. You're a strong supporter of the coffee industry in Goshen.
Unfortunately, yes. It's what keeps me going. I am really not an early riser. I am more of I work the best at night.
Okay.
So during the day, I love to sleep. And then when I get myself going, then I start going. So I'm not one of those people that wakes up and slowly reads the paper and relaxes. And I don't do any of that. I'm up, I jump in the shower, I'm dressed, I'm out.
Right.
It's one of those, and I start going, and it's just continuing. And in my mind, I've created a map of I'm going to hit this place, this place, this place, this. So I've created a map of what my design is for the entire day, and I'm nonstop the entire time. So I survive on coffee because I don't have enough time to stop and eat.
And so who's appointed to take care of your health?
My assistant, Lisa.
Good girl. She's got a big job ahead of her.
She really does. I started working through the chamber in February, and I met her for the first time then. She was there before me. She had started there in September of the previous year. And I came in to meet her, and she says, what can I do? What do you need from me to make your life easier or to help you? And I said to her, I don't know how to explain it except to say this. I am like a freight train. So I'm go, 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 go. All I need you to do is to keep me on tracks. So I don't want you to slow me down. I don't want you to make me stop. What I want you to do is just keep me going by knocking everything else out of the way. So that's really what I am, and that's what I prefer to do. So when people say, well, why don't you take a break? Why don't you, you're on vacation, stop doing that. It's not in me to do that. It's, I want to do it. So if I don't want to do it, I don't. I'll ignore the call or ignore the message, but I basically say yes to everything because I love what I do and I will continue doing it. So I always tell people, like, don't try to tell me you need to slow down, you need to take it easy, you need to, just I know what I want to do, and nothing's going to stop me but me. So it's one of those situations where she knows that she just kind of clears the track for me as I'm going nonstop.
Excellent. Lucky to have her then. That's good. I hope she brings you some food every now and again.
She does try to feed me. She tries to, but she knows it has to be something that's like mobile with me. So she'll like get me a protein shake, or she'll get me a smoothie or something, because she knows I'm sipping and going. I can't stop. Sometimes I will stop and have lunch, but that's because I want to take her to lunch to thank her and show her that I actually do eat. And we sit down and we'll have a conversation. But most of the time, if I'm having lunch, it's because, you know, I'm either feeding my kids or I'm having lunch with her to catch up.
You need to have more meetings at restaurants with chamber members.
I do.
And see what you can do on that. Breakfast, dinner, whatever, you know. Although you're probably not a breakfast person.
No,
because it's get up and go.
And
I understand that.
We host a monthly breakfast every month, and everyone is eating, and I don't eat a thing that's there. I grab the coffee, and she's got my coffee ready, and I've got my coffee, and I do my presentation, and but I don't eat at the breakfast. I never do.
What is your educational background? I know that you have a degree in communications.
Yes. Well, it was so funny because I wanted to go into forensic psychology or something like that when I was a lot younger. So, I went to the high school in the Bronx. I didn't really learn English until I was in ESL programs all through elementary school. And then 5th grade came and they shoved me into an all English class. And I struggled. But it was something that I am glad that it happened that way. I mean, it was difficult, but I'm glad that it happened that way. And then through middle school, I did a little bit more ESL and a lot of English. It wasn't until I went to high school that it was all English. And
excuse me, so were you born in Puerto Rico, and then you when did you come to the Bronx?
So I was born in Puerto Rico, and but I came to the Bronx when I was a baby. So, but my mom doesn't speak English. Well, she speaks a little bit of English now because I pretty much taught her how to read when I was learning how to read in English at the same time.
Right.
And we would watch Casey Kasem, top 40s with Casey Kasem, and we would listen to all the songs. So it's funny how many songs I know in my head that I didn't understand back then that I can sing now, and I know all the words. It's amazing how the brain works. So I was being raised by my mom, and I didn't go into school until 1st grade. And in 1st grade is when I started with the Spanish classes. So I had most of my classes in elementary school were all Spanish until I went to middle school and started doing English. Then I went to high school in the Bronx, Theodore Roosevelt High School on Fordham Avenue. And while I was there, I decided I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I thought it was like something in forensic psychology. And I really wanted to get into John Jay College because I really wanted to travel into Manhattan all the time.
Oh, okay.
So I applied for John Jay College. I didn't get any help applying for college. My mom couldn't help me. So I pretty much kind of learned by trial and error. I just got on the subway and I went and applied for the classes, and I took all the steps. So I see kids now with their parents taking them to college, and I go, really? You can't fill out an application? Which I know I'm going to be that parent with doing everything for my kid for college. But I did that for a while, and I decided I wanted to move out of the city, and I moved up here to Orange County. And I started working at the local phone company.
Oh, okay.
It was funny because I worked at Old Navy. I never really had a job. And I saw that the local phone company was hiring, and I really wanted that job. Now, again, my English wasn't the best, but I decided I'm going to apply for this job. And I don't recommend this to a lot of people, but it worked for me. They asked me if I knew Excel and Word, and I didn't know anything about what they were talking about, but I said yes. Yes, I know.
Yes, I can Word it.
I totally know Excel. I know Word. and they said, can you type? And I was like, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
I left that interview saying to myself, they said it was on a Friday. They said to me on a Monday that I would come in for a data entry exam. I didn't even know what data entry was.
Oh.
So, but I went to the local Salvation Army and I picked up a typewriter, and I'd be a Selectric.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Big, huge typewriter. And in the Salvation Army, I picked it up. I took it home. I started typing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I just kept doing that all weekend long, just practicing how to type. So that when Monday rolled around, I felt pretty confident that I can type. And I took the data entry test. I've never seen anything before like this in my life. I took the data entry test, and would you believe I passed that thing? It was like,
good for you.
Oh my goodness. So I passed this. I get hired.
Hell hath no fury like a determined woman.
I passed this test, and they so now comes the challenge of, do you know how to do Excel and Word? Because we would like you to teach everyone else how to do Excel and Word. So
those who can't teach, right?
So I bought a book. I went to like Barnes and Nobles or a local bookstore, and I got the Excel book, and I taught myself how to do Excel, and I started teaching them how to build Excel spreadsheets. So it was self-taught how to do Excel, how to use Microsoft Office. And no sooner, less than 6 months of being there, they gave me my own department to run, which was a long distance department.
The long distance department.
Yeah, because it used to be back then, your regular bill was separate from your long distance bill.
Right.
So I would run the long distance department. And I was the first person at the phone company to have a modem and have internet access out into the world. So my computer would always be screeching. And I was the only one that did that, because I did collections. And so I was the collections rep. I also was an FCC rep. So whenever there was an FCC complaint, I would answer these FCC complaints, and we would win every single complaint. It was like
excellent. You were on fire.
And I would teach people how to do spreadsheets and how to set up deferred payment arrangements for people. I did both the English and the Spanish calls,
right.
And I was running my own long distance department for a while until I met what would be the sheriff of Orange County. And he actually was my IT guy that would set up the internet for me. So we worked closely together, and he said to me that he was planning to run for sheriff of Orange County, and he wanted a right hand. And he was hoping that I would, if he won the election, that I would leave with him. So he did win the election, and I was like, what does this mean? But all through that time, I put myself through SUNY Orange. I went back to college because I wanted a degree. And I did all the core classes. I just did liberal arts, and I went through night school. It took me 5 years to get my associate's degree. I was going part-time. I was going to college through the summer, but I was determined that I was going to not only get my associate's degree, I also wanted those orange tassels that run around your neck. What's wrong with
those are important.
Yeah. Clearly, I wear them today. I couldn't even tell you where they are.
And you didn't bring your tassels today?
So it took me 5 years to get my associate's degree, but I did get it. And he brought me on as his confidential secretary. For 14 years, I worked with the sheriff's office as his confidential secretary, and I brought on a lot of programs like the Operation Safe Child. I advocated to bring that into Orange County. I was the chair of operations for the New York State Sheriff's Association when it came to the Operation Safe Child, and I did a lot of the community policing relations. So it was about going out into community and having that relationship between police officers and the community. I stayed there for 14 years, but I wasn't growing. It wasn't. I knew that I wanted more exposure, I guess. I've always wanted to have a show, right? That was a Mr. Rogers. I'm a huge Mr. Rogers fan. So I always said to myself, I'm going to have a show. It's going to be like Mr. Rogers and Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs. So I love Mike Rowe and his Dirty Jobs. And I'm a huge fan of Lucille Ball. So I wanted to take all three and put it together.
Yeah, because Mr. Rogers and Lucille Ball, they go really well together.
Yeah. So I wanted that. So I always thought about that, and I wanted to call it Peeling Orange County. And I went to Marist College to get my degree in communications, and so it was a degree in communications and psychology. I tried some marketing classes, and I did not like them. I thought it was very boring.
Right.
But it's funny because now a lot of what I do is marketing. But I guess I didn't want to do it the traditional way. I didn't want to do it the traditional marketing way. And when Facebook decided, I knew there's no way I could ever get a camera crew and to follow me around to do these things. How am I going to pay for that? So Facebook Live happened, and I saw that as that's the opportunity right there. You're able to just bring a camera from your phone and set it up, and people will watch. And why would they watch? But they started watching because I would show up at different places. It was first called We're in Orange County as Barbara Martinez, and it was funny because people started watching, and then they kept sending me a message. Well, where are you going to go next?
Oh, cool. So you got a following.
Yeah. And it was so bizarre because it was like, oh, okay, you really are paying attention. And then I started getting people reaching me outside of Orange County, asking me to come. And I said, I better get a little clever with this and not isolate myself to Orange County. So I'll call it We're in the Hudson Valley. Because I'm willing to drive out to the Hudson Valley, not further, because it's now it's just crazy. And I started doing We're in the Hudson Valley, and it just started to just get so busy where I was getting 100 requests a day to follow me on Facebook. And I still get 100 requests a day to follow me on Facebook. And people ask me, why isn't my Facebook public? You have to friend request me, and you have to have mutuals to request me. And there are a lot of filters on my Facebook because I want to limit the amount of people that can actually have access to me. I'm trying to have a little bit of semblance of control over who sees what. Eventually, of course, I'll have to open it up. So if I really want this brand to get bigger, I'll have to open it up to the public, but then I'll have to really isolate my personal, like my family part of it.
Right. So you can have a public Facebook and a private.
Right. Or just take down the private, Facebook and keep just the public image open. But having this Facebook Live opened up so many opportunities. And I realized that I was hitting a part of the community, and that was the local businesses and not-for-profits that weren't quite as comfortable putting themselves out there or being in front of the camera or doing Facebook Live. So I just offered it because it's a hobby. I don't get paid to do it. It's a hobby. I show up because if I like it. I visit a lot of places, but if I don't particularly like the place, then you won't ever hear about it. But if I do love the place, then you'll hear about it. And I'll make sure to make it a point to shine a light on that. So I don't believe in putting any one business down. So if I'm not happy with that, I just won't go back. But if I do love a place, I I want a Facebook Live. And I found that when I would go behind the scenes, so if I would introduce myself to the owner, if I really liked the way that it looked, and I would ask them a couple questions, and I would say, hey, do you think maybe we could Facebook Live and maybe show the people that are following me about why I'm so excited about this place? And a lot of them go, no, I really don't. I'm so shy. I don't want to. And so I'll just take a couple pictures. But I've had some that said, no, I'm shy. I don't want to. But is it okay if I do Facebook Live? Absolutely. So I'll start the Facebook Live and I go, here I am at, Liminality, New York. And I span the camera and then she pops in, hi. And I'm like, oh, I thought you wanted to be it's a video. Yeah. And I've had places where I just show up and just as a regular day. And for example, I went to the cigar shop to buy a birthday present, and I walk in and the owner happens to be there. And I walk in, he goes, are you going to go Facebook Live? And I said, no, I just came to buy some cigars for a birthday. No, I really think you should go Facebook Live. I need you to follow me to the back room. I got to show you Jose. He's rolling fresh cigars now.
And you're not going to give up that opportunity.
No. So I'm like, okay, you're going to take me to the back to see Jose the fresh. I'm going to do it. So I go Facebook Live and I watch Jose as he's rolling cigars, and people love it. So I get access to parts of businesses because they are following, they're watching. The word of mouth is so powerful.
Right.
And I guess the reputation, you have to keep a good reputation. And people they look forward to me walking in through the door. I mean, a lot of them get really excited.
I'm sure they do.
And I'm just simply going in to buy a cup of coffee. But when I do walk,
it really makes your day a lot longer when you have to do Facebook Live everywhere you go.
Yeah. So what I usually do is I'll reschedule them. I'll say I'll come back because I have learned that I don't want to do Facebook Live. I don't want to saturate, and I don't want people to get tired of me. So I learned early on that I have to be strategic in the way that I do this. So on Mondays, I try not to do a Facebook Live because I have a counterpart that she does Facebook Live called On the Couch locally. And I don't want to take away from her. So, and she's a business. So I know she does her Facebook Live on Mondays. So I try to avoid as much as I can doing them on Mondays so that I can support her. And I'll share her Facebook Live onto my page. Then everything else is open. I'll do, the rest of the week. But then I'll try to limit it to 10 minutes long and maybe just 2 a day or every other day. Just so that people don't get tired of seeing it. And I really try to make it exciting so that people are looking forward to what the Facebook Live. I've learned so many different things as I've been doing it. There've been a lot of errors. I don't ever think that I want to make it scripted. I'm very improv. I just want to just do it, and I don't want a script. I don't want to ask scripted questions.
Right.
And sometimes I walk in and people want to start talking, and I'm like, don't tell me anything until we are live because my reaction has to be genuine.
Right.
I really want people to see what my reaction is initially when you first tell me. I want it to be very natural.
Right.
And so a lot of people get nervous because I don't plan anything. They're like, well, what are you going to ask me? And what are you going to, and I'm like, I don't know. You can talk about, the reality is they're passionate about their business, right? Who knows the business better than the business owner? They do, right? Exactly. You know your business, you're passionate about your business, you know the history, the background, the love, the blood, the sweat, the tears. You know all of that. I'm the one that's learning. So, and I'm learning with everyone else. So just be natural, be yourself, and don't feel that it has to be perfect because that's where the Lucille Ball comes in.
You go.
Okay to laugh. It's okay
to make a mistake.
It's fine.
I'm asked all the time, every guest that I have, except for you, actually, what questions are you going to ask me? How does this get started? What happens? I've had some real control freaks come on. And it's like, no, wait a minute. This is my show. We're going to do it my way. And I
Mhm.
don't want to know everything about you before we start. And I don't have a list of questions that I'm going to give you beforehand. And no, that's just not how I want to roll either. So
Mhm.
I think doing Facebook Lives. And when did they start doing them?
Oh gosh, I want to say it was like 2004.
That
Um,
long ago. Really
no,
missed.
no, I'm sorry, 2014. I
Oh,
think is what
14. Okay.
14. Yeah, I keep losing like 10 years. Yeah, 2000. I think it was like 2014. I started doing them. The moment that they introduced them, I probably had like a lag because I didn't understand how it actually worked.
Right.
But once I figured it out, I just started doing them, and I learned a lot of things not to do, what to do, how to tag people, a bunch of different things. And I've actually taught classes, did speaking engagements where people who knew they wanted to learn how to do Facebook Live, and they'll send me a message and say, hey, we really like the way that you do Facebook Live. Would you be willing to come talk to this group of people that are looking to do Facebook Live and don't know how to do it? So I don't necessarily teach you how to do Facebook Live because you have to be natural at it. I'll give some tips. I'll say, make sure the camera is not, far away from you. Make sure that you can see the conversation that people are trying to have with you. Try to engage with the people that are taking time to make messages on, because that's what Facebook Live is. They want to
Right.
engage with you. And I say, try not to make it too long.
Right.
And one of the things that I don't love about some of the Facebook Lives, people will start setting up as they are live. So they're like, okay, give me a minute while I do this, and give me a minute while I do that. And they don't get
Oh,
to the topic. Like, people sign on, start talking about what it is that you're going to talk about, because people get bored and they'll just get off your stream, and you're just like, just from the moment be ready to talk, and
right.
don't hold on to the information. Just start saying, this is what we're going to be talking about, and just give it to people. And then if you have to say it again, then say it again, for people that
Right.
are signing on, so I learned that with doing radio for a long time too. It's one of those things where you just got to don't expect that people are going to stay on streaming the entire time with you.
Right.
People are going to get on and off, on and off, on and off, or people are going to come in late. So you just got to be mindful of catering to everyone that's in that audience. Not everyone stays.
Right.
So it's little things like that I mention to them. I tell them, don't get political on your posts
Right.
if you really want this following, because you'll alienate at least 50% of your audience by doing that.
Stay away from politics and religion.
Stay away from politics and religion. Try not to go into those rants about something, if it's going to be comedic, like me eating that sticky bun and just like, if it's going to be a little comedic, then sure, talk about that. But for the most part, don't turn it into your soapbox, because nobody really cares about what you think about something. They just want you to entertain them.
Well, I have a persona, Pajama Grandma, and Pajama Grandma goes on rants, and she actually has quite a few followings
Yeah,
because it's
well,
just
but her
it's
following,
ridiculous, is what it is.
yeah, her following, you could, but also think about, if you're trying to keep a positive personality, I'm sure she's got a very strong following, but she may have a lot of people that are just watching because they just really want to see what she's got to say, but do they really respect her? So there's different
Right.
types of following. What kind of engagement are you really looking for? And I know the engagement that I'm looking for are people that want to learn, that have a desire to help these local businesses, that want to know more about a not-for-profit, that are interested and not looking for the gossip and the rants and all that. If that's the kind of engagement that I wanted, it's just all noise. And at the end of the day, when they disconnect from you, do they really know what your message was, or are they stuck on that bad word that you may have said, or the silly thing that the negative comment that you made? They will remember you for the bad things, and they won't even remember what the message truly was.
Mm.
And for me, I want people to walk away understanding the importance of the local businesses, the community, and the not-for-profits.
Excellent. We've got some engagement to look at. Let's look at
Oh,
some of these comments that we've been missing here. Bob Mankin came in and said hello. Hey, Bob, how you
hi,
doing?
Mom.
Yeah, and we've got Rick saying great determination, and this is when this is a few minutes ago when you were talking about how you were working through with the typing and the Excel and the Word. And when people were following you around a real live, where's Waldo? There you go. Carl Slicer has joined us this morning. Good morning, Carl. And he's also he must be talking about, I'm thinking, Carl, is this my glass, my invisible glass of water? Gotta love XSplit here. Now we've got Chris saying, I see you don't use the vertical, but you use horizontal for your broadcasts.
Right. That's because when you convert to YouTube, if you use a vertical, is he talking to me or is he talking to you? If you use a
I
vertical,
have no idea what that means whatsoever.
so if you use a vertical when you're doing a Facebook Live and you try to upload it into YouTube, you're going to see those black boxes on the side,
Right.
and there's a lot of empty space. So using the horizontal gives you the full screen so that when you upload into YouTube, it looks just like this.
Right.
And so I tell people all the time, although the vertical seems like a better when you're actually doing it, when you actually try to transfer it, it doesn't transfer as well. So I recommend that people, when they do their Facebook Live, to always do a horizontal broadcast.
Horizontal, yeah. And I guess I've had experience with both, but anyway, how did you make the quantum leap then from working for the sheriff of Orange County to Goshen Chamber of Commerce? How'd you get there?
Well, when I left the sheriff's office, I wanted a break. I had been working since I was 14 years old. And I have my two boys, and I really wanted a break from working. It was like I wanted to take a vacation. I wanted to live on unemployment for like, I don't know, 6 months. Give me 6 months of unemployment.
Yeah.
I was getting into the system forever. And, I have always worked. And it was because, a lot of people don't know. I went through homelessness and food insecurity. I've slept on park benches. I've done all of that. And I had my boys, and I said, I really want to try to spend some time with my kids. So I left the sheriff's office, and no sooner do I leave the sheriff's office, a couple of weeks later, I get a call from the chief of police in the village of Goshen that says the Orange County Chamber of Commerce is looking for a director of communications, and would you be interested? And I'm thinking, I really kind of wanted to take a break. and I said, but the reality is I am a single mom. I have boys. I have a mortgage, so although it was an idea in my head.
No rest for the wicked, my dear.
So I went for an interview, and it was almost like the position was built around, can you do radio? Yes, I can do radio. Can you do this? Can you do that? And it was like, well, you're pretty much describing who I am. And they offered me the job as director of communications. I did that for 2 years, and it really, it was very limited. I was very limited into what I could do there. There was a lot of placing in the box, and I can't work that way. So for me, it's a lot of people will say, well, you could probably get a job that pays you crazy money in the corporate world. But then that means I also lose my voice, and I can't do, like, money would be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be limited into what I can or cannot do on my regular day. So I stayed there for 2 years, and I was about to leave. It wasn't the right fit for me. And I said, I'm going to go work at McDonald's, and I'll just, be there for a little bit. And
I'm trying to picture you in McDonald's. It doesn't work for me.
I figured, for me, it's, if I am not happy, I am going to be done with it. So no lie, I decided that Monday that I was going to resign and say, this just isn't for me.
Okay.
And we have our morning staff meeting, and I'm saying to myself, I am going to resign. And
How long ago was this?
this was in
Okay, you took it in
December.
February. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Recent.
So actually it was it was in December. And I said, I'm going to resign after the holidays. Come January, I'm done. And no sooner I decide that, and I go into the morning staff meeting, and I'm sitting there and I'm contemplating. She mentions, my former boss mentions that the Goshen Chamber of Commerce lost their executive director. But it still wasn't in my mind to go after that at all. No sooner we're done with the staff meeting, my phone rings.
Uh-huh.
And it's the president of the board for the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, and said, hey, listen, your name was tossed around a couple times. They said that you would be perfect for this job, and we really were wondering if you would even consider it, if this is something that you would even consider taking on.
Okay.
And I said, yes, I would. And I met with them, and he said to me, he said all the right things. He said, you know what you do on your regular day with We're in Hudson Valley's Barbara Martinez? And I said, yes. He's like, that's what we want you to do with the Goshen Chamber of Commerce. And that was the selling point. And I said, are you sure? Because a lot of times people say they want change and they want to do things differently. And then you start instituting changes and people start to go, I don't know, we want to change, not that much change. And he said, nope, we are ready for this. We need to keep up with the trends. We need you to wake the chamber up again. And that was it. I said, yes, I will take the job. And I took the job in February. Yes. I took the job in February, and we've done so many things in the past 6 months. And I'm not going to say it's been easy. Of course, when you, like I said, institute change, you're going to have some resistance. The good thing about the position that I am in, my board president believes in what I do, and he supports what I do.
That makes all the difference in the world.
Makes all the difference. So I'm asking him to never leave as board president of the chamber.
Not during your tenure, at least.
Yeah. So he's been very supportive. So really, it was 2 years in Orange County as a director of communications is when I learned a lot of the things that I did not want to do. There were things that were done a certain way that I said, that's really not the way I want to do things. And with the Goshen Chamber, I'm able to be myself and support local businesses and not-for-profits, which I think are very important for every chamber to remember that most of your membership are those small businesses. If you look at your membership list, you will find that 75, maybe 80% of your membership are the small businesses. Mm-hmm. And they get overlooked because they don't make the biggest noises. And so I really, my focus is, yes, of course, we want corporate partners because they bring in the big money. But I think it's still important that to have a healthy community, to have healthy local businesses and healthy not-for-profit organizations. And I think it's our job as chambers to support them.
Excellent. What do you think is your most important role as executive director for the chambers?
I think the branding of our chamber is very important. I think that building that trust between businesses and the chamber. I want people to believe again in what a chamber can do for your business. These businesses are busy running their business. Mm-hmm. They don't have time to try to figure out who's there to support them, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. So as a chamber, we need to help promote them and support them and really try to give them some guidance on what they could do a little bit better to really bring the customers and grow their business. And so I think as a chamber, my role as the executive director is to show that we can do it a little bit different. and we can still get the trust of people. One of the things that I do that's different, I think, from a lot of chambers, and I am very honest when I say this, I know that we are a member-based organization, but I tell people all the time, I want members that want to be members.
Right.
If you don't want to be my member, I am not going to chase after you. I'm not going to sell you the membership. I invite people to come hang out with us, have a breakfast, do a networking event, follow us on Facebook, check out our website, see for yourself, and make a decision, because this is your money, this is your business, and you need to decide if we are the right fit. And if we're not the right fit, you got to find the one that is for your business.
And is the membership, has they responded very well to this? I would assume that they have.
Here's the thing. We have doubled in size since I took over.
Well, there you go.
Even my board president is like, so when is the cutoff? When are we cutting people off?
You don't cut people off, do you?
And I said,
Really?
once we reach 500, I might consider saying, okay, let's maintain what we have and not take on any more until we really can make sure that all the promises that we make, we're keeping. Wow. We are a small chamber. It's me and Lisa, and we do have great ambassadors that support. But the reality is that we are two people, and I don't want to take on members for the sake of taking on members. I want to take on members that I know that I can actually visit, that I can support, that I can give them my time, that I can help. I have to be realistic, because what happens is when you start neglecting those people, you either stop them from coming because you know you can't handle them, or you're going to start losing them.
Uh-huh.
And I'd rather cut it off than having them just leave me.
So as a business who's looking, I'm in the market for a chamber, actually. I've only had a few experiences. My first chamber was in Mexico, and I didn't speak Spanish, so that didn't go very well. The second chamber that I looked at was in Miramichi, and they had no events on their calendar at all. So I could have gone in, I thought, and made probably could have found a little spot where I could have helped out. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was a little much. Anyway, I moved. So now I'm in an area where there are 3 chambers within really 20 minutes either way. Okay. How do I decide? What are some of the things that that a business looks at when they're looking to find the right chamber fit for them?
So this is what I say to people all the time. Go to their website. Mm-hmm. Their website, and Chris and Rick will agree to this. Your website is the front door to their business.
Right.
So look at their website. And if their website looks like it's being updated, maintained, has good information, then that's number one. Right. You have to look the part. I always say to people, if I go to a hairdresser and her hair looks like a mess, why am I going to trust that you're going to be able to do mine?
That's right.
So there are things that you have to look the part. And I say this a lot to my businesses when I go into their website. I say, your website needs work. You need to look the part. So I say that, look at their website. Check out, not that Facebook is very important as a part of making that decision, but are they staying up with the trends? So are they active on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and, whatever other social media? LinkedIn? Are they active? Mm-hmm. And how active are they? And one of the biggest things that I notice in their Facebook, what is their Facebook about? Is it about just the chamber, or is it about the membership? That tells you a big difference about what their focus is on. If you go onto my chamber, into my Facebook, you're going to see a lot of member stuff. That is what my Facebook should be about. Yes, we're going to throw in stuff about our chamber, but most of everything is about our membership. And I usually say, and attend a breakfast, just one, for each of them, or a networking event, and see how they embrace you. I greet every single person that walks in through that breakfast. I say hello. I don't wear a name badge. because people are quick to just look at your badge and keep moving. No, I want you to ask me what my name is, and I want to introduce myself,
Okay.
and I want us to have a conversation. So I don't want you to look at my name badge and keep walking. I want you to go, well, who is that? She's not wearing a name badge. Well, come on over and ask me who I am.
Yeah.
But I also engage everybody. You shouldn't, if you're walking into a chamber event, someone from the chamber should greet you. That's very important. It shouldn't be, you don't know what's happening. You don't know where to sit. You don't know
Right.
anybody. You don't know what's going on. There isn't an itinerary. You have no clue. Lisa knows it's very important to me that if we see someone walking in the door that we've not met before, one of us is going to make
Zoom.
sure
Mhm.
we pay attention to that individual and we ask them, oh, you know, who are you? Where are you from? Where are you coming? Thanks for joining, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're interested. Let me introduce you to so-and-so.
Right.
And it's important that we take the first step to make everyone that walks in through that door, any door, our office, networking, breakfast, whatever, they need to feel welcome. No one should feel unsure ever.
Right.
And she knows I'm a big stickler for that. So
Excellent.
as those are the three things that I usually say, take a look first and then decide from there if that's the right chamber for you.
Excellent. Carl has asked us a question here. What three things improve business through chamber membership?
It depends. It's very different for different chambers. It really is, what is the business looking for in a chamber?
Mhm.
We need to be able to tailor the needs to the business. So if the business says to me, I, don't really need help with social media, but I do need help in making, getting networking, or I need help in my website needs some help, or I need to, whatever it is that we need to identify what it is that that business feels that they're missing out on. And if we can assist them with it, then we will, or we will make the right connection to help them with that. So it's very different. The bid chamber that you join shouldn't be cookie cutter. They shouldn't try to shove down your throat the things that they use for everybody else.
Okay.
It should be really tailored. Like, get to know that business, know your audience, and see what they need, what they're looking for. What are you expecting out of this chamber? Because they have to be just as engaged as they want you to be to their business. They need to be also engaged to the chamber. And if they don't see anything in value to the chamber that they're joining, they're not going to engage. So
Right.
I'd like to tailor everything so I couldn't tell you, that's a great question, but I couldn't tell you what three things they would be, because those three things could be different for this business and that business.
So are there I'm guessing now that there would not be organically many businesses who come in and go, I would like to join the chamber, but I'm actually here to see how I can fit in and help the chamber as well,
Mm-hmm.
rather than saying, this I'm here. This is what I expect from the chamber. This is what I want you to do for me. How do very many members come in and offer to help out as well, or how is that received?
Yes. It's funny because a lot of them, they will call on the phone, but they'll say, we want to come see you. So
Okay.
they'll come to the office. I'm getting a lot of traffic. Like, I'm going to put in a revolving door like this. People keep coming in. They keep coming in. They want to sit down. They want to have a conversation. They have never been able to have that kind of access to an executive director. They've always had to fill out forms online, which is still available, or they have to call on the phone, but they don't actually deal with the executive director. They'll deal with the staff.
Right.
In my chamber, you deal directly with me. I'm going to walk you through the entire process of your membership benefits. But a lot of times when they walk in, it's funny because they go, I want to be more involved. I want to be more engaged. What can I do? What can, as a business, how can I help? I want to help you guys. You guys are so much fun. We want to spend some time with you. What can we do for you? And I'm getting a lot of that. And because they see that we reciprocate a lot.
Right.
We're helping each other, and they want people to see that they have that kind of relationship and they're linked like that with this chamber. They want to almost say, we're friends. We hang out together. We know everything about each other. So it's almost like they want people to say they are part of our club.
Ah,
So we do get that a lot, where people come in and offer to help.
sounds like something one would have to be a little tiny bit careful about as well. Checking them out. And as Chris is saying, this is what we teach our group members. Chamber group members, listen closely to this. It's certainly the approach that I am going to take when I go. I'm going to go and visit all three chambers. I've been through their websites and things, and I've already had an indication of what kind of reception I'm going to get from the closest one, closest by like 2 minutes, so it's not a big deal. And I wasn't impressed at all. But there's another one that has all kinds of programs and just what they offer their people is just something that I could say, yes, this is something I can get behind because they really are involved. And you can tell, as you know, I mean, either a chamber's up really active in helping their members or they're not, and they have programs or they don't, or, you know, it's just the caliber, I guess, of the chamber. Carl is asking, do you make introductions a standard?
I don't understand that question.
I wasn't entirely sure either. Carl, can you give us a little bit more info on that? Now, that question came up when we were talking about like you going and making sure that when a new member comes in that they are greeted.
Yes.
So it was around that time that question popped up. So
do you make introductions a standard? So that is a requirement, actually. If what you mean is making sure that we introduce ourselves to every single person that walks in through our doors, regardless of where we are, then it is actually a requirement. Lisa knows that is a pet peeve of mine. Okay. I want to meet every single person, and I do. And even if I go up on stage, when I'm done with what my intro or whatever, she makes it a point to say, and so-and-so's over there, and so-and-so's over there. And I will go introduce myself. I shake hands with everyone that I meet. If a chamber member specifically has a request for introduction,
they're interested in becoming familiar with. So I guess if someone came in and said, I'm in the mortuary business, do you have like referral. Can you introduce me to the coroner? I don't know.
It's funny. It's funny because my brain automatically goes there. So when somebody comes into my business, into the chamber, and says, I do this, even if they don't ask for it, I'll go, you know what? I really want you to meet so-and-so because you guys can really make that connection. I think one of the things that I do the most is connections. I really love doing that. I love to introduce.
And that's important. And it's not something that everybody can do. In the 70s, I learned how to do this when I was working with the embassies. And you're right. You know, you see a connection, you think, this person, you would be a good fit with this person, and hooking them up together. It's a lost art. It's nice to see that you have it.
Yeah, I love doing it. And a lot of times it's funny because I do it via Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
So I'll go on the Messenger and I'll create that small group of those two people. I'll go, so-and-so, I want you to meet so-and-so. And connect. And when I see that they connect, that they say, hello, I say, okay, I'm getting out of this group, and I get out of the group and I let them connect. But I do that automatically. It's like, because I think that's how you're going to get people to continue coming, because they meet someone that really is going to help them. So connections and introductions are a standard. Yes. All the time. I don't ever imagine when we don't.
That's right. Wouldn't be a very helpful chamber, I suppose, really, without it. But not everybody clues into that. What's in the future for you? And then is there something else that you're working on that you're possibly going to introduce to the chamber, or just even in your personal life, you're going on with the Hudson Valley something or other? What do you got up your sleeve, Barbara?
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, I love what I do and I have fun doing it, but my dream is eventually, hopefully very soon, is to buy a little coffee shop somewhere and somewhere that's in a walkable community, maybe close that I can walk down to the beach or something, and just own and live above in the apartment above and just do that. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to, I want to hide away after I'm done with this. So like I said, I want to own a coffee shop and live the quiet life, sip coffee all day, talk to the customers, and go about my day. And
No
that's
Facebook Live with your customers at the coffee shop?
no.
Oh, my. A real 180-degree turn there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I really want to, like I said, I've been working since I'm 14 years old, and I love doing all of this. But I really want to just have a coffee shop and go to the beach and just relax. This is really all I want to do. I used to work with a man named Dominic Orsino, and he was the colonel for our jail. He was a jail administrator, and he was great, and he worked hard. He was there first one there, last one, and this was probably his second job. He had retired from Sing Sing Correctionals or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he would sit down with me and he'd go, Barbara, I just want to retire and stock books at Barnes and Nobles. That's it. I just want to drink coffee and put books in the bookshelf at Barnes and Nobles, and it's all I want to do. And that was his dream, that once he retired, that's what he was going to do. And then he passed away, and he never got a chance to do that. And that broke my heart, and it has stayed with me forever. And so every time I think, and people say to me, really, Barb, that's what you want to do? I say, I want to do what Colonel Orsino said he was going to do and didn't get a chance to do. I'm going to get this coffee shop, and I'm going to live above the coffee shop, and I'm going to make coffee in the morning, and I'm going to walk to the beach.
Well, we have a request. First, before I say this, actually, there's no beach in Goshen, right?
No, no, I'm leaving.
Are you going to be in Puerto Rico?
No, not Puerto Rico. I'm thinking something a little further north, a little south, just a little further south. I don't know, Hilton Head or South Carolina, or not, I don't care. Somewhere where there's a little beach and I can just walk to it. I know I won't be able to afford to live on the beach, but maybe at a little college town or something that's like near.
Well, Chris is saying wherever you end up, make sure there is good internet there for the Chamber Mastermind group. I don't think you're getting out of that. I bet God let him stack all the books he wants.
I sure hope so.
Pleasant. Yeah, that's great. Hey, Barb. Bob is speaking up. Bob doesn't speak very often. Barbara's enthusiasm comes through in her promotional efforts for her chamber. Great content and brand awareness with the Facebook Live broadcasts. Absolutely. And that's been really one of the cornerstones that's helped you through is your Facebook engagement and how you've used it to carry on with the chamber and elevate the bar really for the chambers, because you're really doing well with that. Excellent.
Yeah, it gets a lot of the other chamber leaders mad.
Well, there's this whole culture, this whole group of people who do not want to be in front of the camera.
Take a break. What are you doing to us?
Yeah, get all upset. And I don't know what's people. Anyway, now Ricky's all upset, you see. Hope you're not thinking of leaving us.
Eventually.
Can I hire her for our chamber over here in Connecticut?
That's going further north, isn't it? That's colder.
You gotta make her a hell of an offer there, Carl. But step up to the plate and I'll negotiate. I'll present the offer to you.
It's so funny because, I get a lot of chambers that here locally that, in reality, they're volunteer bases. They don't work full time like I do. There are only two chambers that have full time staff, and that's the Orange County Chamber and my chamber, the Goshen Chamber. All the other chambers are volunteers. So I understand that it's not possible for them to offer the things that I offer to their members, and I absolutely recognize that. So I have reached out, and actually Chris and Rick has also attempted to help these chambers. I reached out to say we need to pool our resources together and support each other, because at the end of the day, it's really about supporting the local business, and it's about supporting the community. So
Right.
I'm willing to come in to consult with these chambers and say, these are some of the steps that you can take that doesn't take a lot of effort, and I will be glad to help and assist in any way that I can. And it's a little slow going. I get more of the, well, why don't you slow down a little bit? And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. So
why don't you come down to our level so that we don't have to go up to your level?
Yeah. So that's why one of our hashtags is we're setting the pace.
We're setting the pace.
And you got to catch up, because people and businesses are seeing that. And so when I leave the chamber, I want to leave it better than when I found it. And I hope that's what they'll say. They'll remember me as a person that made everything around it beautiful.
I'm sure that will be the sentiment for sure. As I said to you before we came on, and in a comment last night, I am in awe of your energy and everything, everything that you have, because you've got your business life, you've got your family life, and then there's Barbara, who has needs as well. So it's hard to fit these all in a day or a week or a year. So
I will tell people that I do take care of my desire for adventure and fun via the Facebook Live. So it gives me an opportunity to, when I visit these businesses, I'm visiting them because I want to, because I want to have fun doing it. And as a thank you to the business and the fact that I'm having fun is I do the Facebook Live, and I love to share with people the fun that I am having. So in reality, I am having a lot of fun. I'm meeting a lot of great people. I'm going on great adventures, and I am getting to do a lot of things that many people don't have an opportunity to do. So I'm really killing two birds with one stone when I am doing it. I've done things that people can only imagine doing. I mean, how many people can say they jogged a horse, sat on a horse in sulky and jogged a horse around a historic track while interviewing the driver or the rider of the horse? Not many people can say that. I got a chance to do that, but really it was like a bucket list item for me too. So I'm accomplishing a lot of things. So it is me time, if you think about it. When I go to these coffee shops and I do these Facebook Live, it's still a me date. I'm still having a date with myself. I'm having the coffee and I'm having a great time. And then at the same time, I pay it forward and I give a little bit back to the business that gave me the opportunity to have that me time.
I did catch your interview with the roasting coffee place.
Greenwood Lake Roasters.
Yeah, that was pretty wild and educational about coffee. That guy,
I know. He was like a major coffee nerd, wasn't he? Oh my God. I didn't really think that he was going to go into the science of it. I was like,
he's talking about being like a coffee sommelier. And I went,
he was like,
all those guys.
I'm a wine coffee guy. And I'm like, wow, dude, I just wanted you to show me how to use the machine. He went into
they paid thousands of dollars for to bring in from Turkey, right?
Tell me what, and if you see the little shop, it's like a little tiny shop there, and he's a big guy, and then the machine was a big machine. So, but
he and his wife running it. Those are the things dreams are made of.
Yeah, and it was funny. I went to one coffee shop in Monroe, and I enjoyed it. And then I put a call to action to people, say, hey, I'm thinking I want to visit other coffee shops in Orange County. Show me what you got. And I started getting these messages, meet us here in Greenwood Lake, meet us here at, so that's, now I'm getting these call to actions from people of where I should go. So that's really the where in the Hudson Valley is Barbara Martinez, which is on my own time, my free time, my fun time. And so I get to explore and travel these new places.
Hi, Carl. Thanks for joining us. Sorry.
Hi, Carl. Thank you.
I think we do have to start wrapping this up a bit. We could talk forever. Lots to cover. And I knew it would be like this, and that's why I was really looking forward to it. Barbara, we do want to thank you so much for sharing your journey. And because we're not finished, But the hour and a quarter is coming up on us, and people, it's a long weekend. So uh, I do hope that you'll come back and visit us again, and that I may even contact you about a few questions that I have about the lives and things, because I do enjoy doing them as well, and I've a bit to learn. Thank you so much. What are you going to do for the rest of your day?
I am doing nothing.
Nothing. The
I
boys are
am
out.
doing nothing. The boys are gone with their father. I'm gonna go visit my papi chulo, who's my boyfriend, and we're gonna hang out and
There
nothing.
you go. Excellent. Well, you have yourself a good day and a good weekend.
Thank
And
you. You too.
what do we got here? Rick, a great and complete overview of the other side of Barbara Martinez. I was going to post this as Barbara Unplugged. So we'll meet up again sometime, but I
Yes.
will say goodbye for now. And thank you ever so much for being
Thank you so
candid
much.
and sharing with us.
This
Very
was fun. Have a nice long weekend.
excellent. Great. Thank you. So there we have it. Barbara and Judith Unplugged. That was fun. Actually, I didn't even ask, are there any other questions? You guys were engaging, and that's wonderful. Like to see that very much. Next week, I've got Dean Gilmore coming up. And what are we going to talk about? And who is Dean Gilmore? Dean Gilmore is the head of sales for Video Remix. And what we're going to talk about is bringing a product to market and what happens. And there are so many products lately that have been brought to market that really aren't quite ready. So failure to launch is coming up next week, and I hope that you'll join us for that. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's a long weekend. Get out there, enjoy the sunshine, get that barbecue fired up. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.